Welcome back. I'm Brian, and today we are trying out the new program Animaze by the same people that did Face Rig to see if you can use Animaze to be a VTuber. If you've been following me on Twitter, you know that it's no secret that I am planning on doing a VTuber debut with a character that I've made. And lo and behold, Animaze actually just released today, so we're going to go ahead and give it a try. And as you can see, it works pretty okay. But there are some caveats. And we're going to go through the entire program, kind of give you a rundown of it. So as to not distract you too much, I'm going to get this out of the way. This is just my cam link. This is how it's hooked up to my camera currently. My camera is actually a little off center of what my monitor is. So if I'm looking directly at the camera, it seems to work pretty well. But when I start to look away like towards my screen, like if I was actually playing a game, sometimes the tracking doesn't work super well. I think that's because of my beard, by the way. But anyways, while we're here, this is how you actually calibrate it. And you just look at the camera with a very deadpan face. And that's pretty much it. So the way that I actually have this set up to record right now, I am capturing the game through OBS right now, and I've got all the menus down out of the way, and I have blown up the screen so that it doesn't capture all the menu points. As far as I can tell in the settings, there's not a way to turn those off in the normal version. This is the free version of Animaze, and they do have premium subscriptions, but we'll get to that. So first up, you have the avatars. As you can see, is working pretty well, actually. The tracking on the models actually works pretty well, and it's been hit and miss for me with like tracking via the mouth, but it seems to work pretty well, and you get really good movement out of this, actually. Like, seemingly, it tracks me pretty well. Now, one thing I will say off the bat about most of the models is that they don't seem to use pre-generated, like you don't have a hotkey for your facial expressions the way that you would do it like with VC Face or Luppet or another program like that. Basically, it'll track me if I'm being like happy or angry or sad and try to replicate that on the model. So for instance, if I'm doing a happy face, my model will smile. If I'm doing an angry face, it'll not confuse angry. Sometimes the triggers work better than others. I can be confused with my eyebrows, and I can be shocked. So there seems to be like 4 or 5 pre-generated expressions that seem to work okay. So preloaded in here, you have the avatars that come with the program, and their design is not for me. The shark is pretty good, I will say. The shark is pretty good. The fish has very, very big eyes. There's what appears to be an actual virus. Very, very timely. There is a nightmare burger. I will not subject you to that. There is also Trump. I don't know why this is here. Then you have the fluffy friends from the classic, which also seem to work pretty well. The bear is one that I enjoyed as well. But in the terms of using this for VTubing, there's only a handful of anime models that actually come with the program, even for testing. And these models are actually from Live 2D. So they're not made by Animaze. For the sake of you guys, I did go ahead, you start with coins, I guess, which is like their form of currency. And I bought an anime girl for testing purposes. I did it for you guys. So I can go ahead and swap on over to that. And just like that, I am finally a cute anime girl. I can smile. When my eyes work correctly. I can yell. Ha! I can wink. I can wink with this eye. Ha ha! I can be joyous. Ha! I can be angry. I can be confused. Huh? I do have a little bit of head movement on the Live 2D models, but it doesn't seem that I have much body movement on these because they're not set up for that. That is not Animaze's fault. That is just how the model is. Now, another thing to point out too is that seemingly the Live 2D models, the anime style ones, don't have any pre-generated expressions, which seems really strange to me and would make VTubing kind of hard, because sometimes you want to do expressions not necessarily when the camera's tracking you, or like if I'm trying to do an angry face, not confused. when you're trying to do an angry face and it doesn't appear to be being picked up by Animaze, I would like the option to press a hotkey and have it change to that expression. That doesn't seem to be an option right now, because when I go to animations, there are no actions or poses available for this avatar. Hopefully there would be an option if you imported your own model to have pre-generated animation keys. Now, another thing about models that I found a little strange as well is that to import your actual avatar, a single import is $1, which I guess is not too bad. You get unlimited with a subscription, and it's not super duper expensive or anything, but I really would have liked the ability to import the models that I've been working on so I could at least test them out and see how they work with Animaze. I'm actually a little uncomfortable with being a cute anime girl, so I'm going to turn into a bear. Ba-ba. It's as easy as that for changing into models, which is pretty good on their side of things. So if for some reason you wanted to use multiple models, you could do so. You do have a couple pre-generated animations. You can wave because I'm a bear. You can shrug like I don't know. You can say no, no, no. And also you can zoom in and out, and you can shift your model around. Now, how I would normally be doing it, like if I was actually streaming or recording an actual video, you can go into backgrounds here, swap to an actual green screen, bada bing. I've already got the green screen keyed in on OBS, so I should be transparent now. I'm a bear. I'm a bear. So for the use case of like, you know, a Discord call or like a video conference like Zoom or something or Blue Jeans, this would work great. Like if you just want to be a funny animal character, but I'm having some difficulty seeing it being used professionally as a VTuber setup. Namely because I can't even test my model. Now you can import live 2D, which you have to have some pretty hefty art skills, or you have to do a commission to actually get a live 2D avatar. It's not exactly the same as like a 3D model. Now it does support some other normal 3D models. However, it does not support VRMs, which is Vroid models, which is something that I used and is something that is very common right now, but for some reason it did not launch with that ability. So that's a bit of a bummer. You do have a couple different backgrounds that you can cycle through here. Like you can do this Satara night one. This night one's actually pretty nice. If for some reason you wanted a flowery road, I guess you could do that too. Looks like they just took a picture and like kind of blurred out the background. Or boom, we can actually go to the Trying Brian gym for once. So another thing to look at is there are props in this, which is kind of cool. So let's say that I actually wanted my headset on for once. Boom. And I could make it really, really big because I'm a bear, and it kind of makes sense. And the props seem to work directly with the model, which is really good, which is actually really cool. And you can change the colors in here too. Now at the time, I don't see a way to make a custom model within this program. They may have a separate one for that, but as far as being baked into Animaze, I do not see that you can. You can roughly customize what you want from like their pre-generated characters. So you can like change the color. I can be a different colored bear. I can be this color. I can be this color. So there are some limited customization options within the options. Speaking of options, you do get a whole bevy of options for changing the tracker inputs. And I think some of it would work better for me if I did touch these a little more. I did change a few things, especially on the eyes, but I think overall you really have to kind of play with your model and, you know, how you are as a person with the camera to kind of get everything quite right. Like, especially when I start to look away from the camera. Like, why is that happening? Why is my mouth moving on its own? Not exactly perfect out of the box. Another neat thing about Animaze, though, is that you do have the iPhone bridge, so if you have an iPhone X and up, you can actually use that for facial tracking, which is pretty cool. As it stands now, I can't really suggest Animaze as used for VTuber because I wasn't even able to really test my model. But if you want to use it for like, you know, a fun like Discord chat or like any other video conferencing app, I think it would work just fine for that. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell. I do hope that once they actually add the VRM support, I'm able to import my model, test it out, and see how well my model actually does in that, because currently I am using VC Face, which is a free program. And I've also used 310A before, which is a free program. So fingers crossed that there are some improvements. Thanks for joining me today. This is your host, Trying Brian, signing off. you.